What y'all know about it? But look, I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. Nah, nah, nah. I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. Yeah, yeah.
All right, let's get it. DEEZY Squad! What's good, DEEZY Squad? It's good, DEEZY baby. I just bit my tongue, bro. Let's try that again. DEEZY Squad! What's good, DEEZY Squad? It's good, DEEZY baby, and I'm back again with another video for y'all. And in this video, I'm finally gonna be getting into the Hangout Love Triangle edition with Daniel, Greta, and Sam. Okay, I'm excited for this. If you guys are excited, make sure you guys subscribe, hit that bell, and like the video. I'ma like the video as well. Of course, I always do that before I watch. You get it? Make sure you guys comment down below what other reactions you guys want. And if there is another episode of the Hangout that you guys want me to react to, let me know. But we about to get into it. It's 45 minutes, so make sure you guys get your snacks. I forgot my popcorn. That's great. I have some animal crackers, but man. All right, so let's just go ahead and get into it.
We actually talked about this very recently. Yeah, we did. I feel like I've mentioned this before. We originally both went out for Olivia. Yes. Yeah. So I met Sam and Mike very early on in the audition process. February of 2018.
They both were auditioning for Olivia.
2018. So I have a very vivid memory of I got flown out to LA to test, and I was sitting out like on a bench outside whatever that Warner
like the
Brothers
testing
offices.
building.
Yeah. And I was on the phone. I was talking to someone back home, and I was like, okay, like I'm here. I was like, I think I was feeling pretty good because I'm like, yeah, they flew me out. Like that's a good sign. And I just see Samantha walk by me, and I literally was like, not a chance in hell. Like I just like instantly. Also because we talked about this, we had a very different approach to the character. So I went
Olivia.
Yeah. So
Okay.
to like wardrobe wise, I went a little more like indie. Like I had like space buns, and I was a little bit more like
so
eccentric.
cute. Yeah.
And then Sam was like heavy eye makeup, like chains.
Fake
And I was
septum
like,
piercing.
did I just like completely misread the situation? So I mean, I was right. I didn't pick up yet. So
Literally, it's crazy because acting, it's a very competitive, you know what I'm saying, industry. So it really does come down to the smallest things when it comes to choosing an actor. And they told you guys they wore something different. They had a different approach, to the character. And that is why it takes, casting directors longer to choose. And, you know what I'm saying? That's why some of them choose certain actors over others. Not because they're better, but because maybe they just look more like the character that they envisioned, So.
But not because you weren't, I mean, to your point, like, I just looked very different.
Yeah.
Because at that time, she was very different than how she is now. She's very goth, kind of a wallflower, like, grunge, like, just, very, very dark and angsty, which she still is, but, no, I remember I gravitated towards you, I gravitated towards Mike, and that last audition process, where we both tested for the same role, but you were the only person there testing for Layla, I was like, okay, I think I see what's
So
going
how did how did it jump from Olivia to Layla?
So I think it was at the end of that first day, or was it like on the first day we had 2 tests? I think we tested in the morning.
I didn't test
We
that
didn't
day.
test. We auditioned, or I did like
that work session.
exactly with our director.
Yeah.
The director of the pilot, Rob. And then we took a break and came back in the evening and tested with a bunch of people. I don't even remember who was there.
I wasn't there.
But you weren't there.
Yeah.
It's like a whole.
There's a whole.
We could write a whole book about this.
Left.
I left.
Just why?
She's like, I played the fifth.
Shit. Okay.
business reasons, I left.
Oh, okay.
But then things ended up coming back around and working out.
Oh,
So then I
see.
went back
Just playing
for,
hardball.
I did, and I went back for the network test,
Yes.
which is where
Yeah, I remember you reappeared.
I know, you're like, oh,
like,
you're
oh,
back.
Great. I'm feeling great. I'm like, oh, thanks.
I'm dead.
What was your question? Why did? Oh,
How did it get to
how did-
yeah.
I think at the end of that initial day, I remember Robbie Rogers came up to me and he's like, hey, we think you'd be really great. Like, we'd love to see you read for this other character, Layla. Where the spelling, this is why the spelling of Layla is like all over the place. So initially, it was spelled Leila. And then they changed it when they cast me because initially she was supposed to be more of like a Kardashian type,
like
Persian
yeah.
background,
Yeah.
and they changed it when they cast me. So
There you
debunked
go.
that one.
What was the
everybody.
last name again?
Faisal, I
Faisal.
think.
Layla Faisal.
Yeah.
Rumor has it
Rumor has
she
it,
had
yeah.
dinner with the Obamas last year.
I will never forget that monologue because we read that like 2,000 times for
yeah.
our
Yeah,
audition.
that was literally the audition scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it happened on the first day. I went back. I think then the next day to like work on.
Layla
it,
was perfect for her for sure.
people from production, and then on the day that we tested for the network, I went in to read for Olivia, ran to the bathroom, changed into like a Layla outfit. And then
Which
went-
is what was the Layla outfit?
What was the Layla outfit? I think it was. Oh wait, I actually don't remember what the Layla
That's
outfit was.
But it was kind of the same sort of style as Space Buns, very cute.
Yeah, I
Did they tell you what to wear specifically? Like
no. So
how
it
to
was
look?
it was funny because like I said, they flew me out for the week, and all I had packed was like eccentric, like indie grunge Olivia clothes. So they're like, we'd love for you to read for this like Beverly Hills popular like cool sexy girl.
So
And
you're
I
like
was like,
shopping.
yeah, literally,
Yeah.
I was like, I do not own anything here
Yeah.
that fits the bill of that. So yeah, I did in fact have to go get some new clothes. And then yeah, I like changed in the bathroom, went back in to read for Layla. So that was a little bit
That's hectic.
stressful.
I'm glad that I only had one role to
I mean,
audition
thinking
for.
back, I'm like, that's
a
was
lot.
a lot.
Because and then you're balancing two scripts, like you have to memorize all those lines, switch characters, and also like still try to book the role in front of this room full of extremely powerful, intimidating people. I mean, everyone was super nice,
Yeah.
which is a rarity. Like sometimes you walk in those rooms and it's just the energy just weighs down. You're like, pressure's on.
But it was,
Mhm.
and I've never been through this process other than for All American.
Yeah.
But that network test, it was like you were standing. I don't know how it was for you. You were like standing on a stage.
It's like a
kind
theater.
of like a movie theater.
Yeah.
And you couldn't see in front of you because it was black.
Yeah.
But you could make out that there were a lot of people there.
Yeah. Just all eyes on you.
And your reader was like 50 feet away from
Yeah.
you, and you're trying to have this like intimate
Yeah.
scene. So it was, I mean, it was fun, but it was very scary. I'd never done
Yeah.
something like that before.
And so, at which part did you chemistry test with Mike?
I chemistry tested with Mike on the first day.
Oh, okay. So that wasn't in the big theater style thing.
No, I think in the theater we didn't chemistry test with anyone, did we? I think we all went in by ourselves.
I only read with Mike one time
Mm-hmm.
for the network test, and yeah.
I don't think in the last stage of things, it was just us on our own. But when we did test with the boys, it was really weird. We were like in someone's office essentially, and with like in a space not
Like,
much
pretty
bigger
small.
than this, with like 15 people watching you, and then you're doing this. It was just like
That's awkward.
And then it
Very
was funny because
intimate.
the network test was the complete opposite of that. So you
Right.
went from like a really
Right.
intimate space to this.
What feels more stressful, the smaller room or the big theater?
I think actually the smaller room,
Yeah.
because you could
I agree.
feel everything.
Yeah.
And also,
I'm glad that I didn't have to do that.
I think also I just like was not anticipating the space to be that small.
Right.
So you walked in and you're expecting like an audition room,
Yeah.
and then it was not that. So
Yeah.
that was a bit of a surprise, but.
So now we're 3 seasons in. Do you feel the same way about the characters when you auditioned, or do you feel differently about them?
Not at all.
No,
No.
differently.
Very differently. In a good way.
Yeah.
They've they've evolved. I feel like the characters, like, the reality of this, like, of the characters was much more heightened originally, and now I feel like they're a little bit more grounded.
Yeah.
And I think just over the course of, like, almost 3 years now that we've been doing these, like, we've kind of brought parts of ourselves into the characters as well.
Yeah.
So now it feels more organic and less like we're playing this character, but we're still playing a character.
And it's funny because now I could not imagine playing Olivia. Like, I can't imagine anyone but you doing it.
Dude.
And I'm sure part of that is just, like the synergy of
Definitely.
you and her at this point.
Yeah, and I think just the contrast with, like, me and Mike, like, we played twins on the show. And it just happened that, like, I don't know, he genuinely feels like the brother that I've never had.
And you look like siblings.
And we look like siblings a little bit.
I
which
will
feel
say
like never
after...
happened.
Yeah, they do look like siblings.
The first audition, my dad was out here with me, and we took a photo, like, me, Sam, Mike, and the other person that was testing.
Yeah.
So I showed my dad, the other guy that was testing for Jordan. I showed my dad, and I was like, oh, this is like who I tested with today. And he's like, they do look more like siblings than you guys. So I don't know. I was like,
Not your
amazing.
dad.
Literally, my dad was like, great. So,
That's funny.
I mean, it's true.
So a little more support.
Yeah.
But it all ended up. You guys do look very much alike.
We do, and I think that you embody Layla so perfectly. I really feel like if I were playing her, I would have to force it a little bit too much, and you just encompass her like perfectly. It's just everybody just really melts into their characters perfectly. Yeah, great.
For sure.
When Layla's a little more savage, or when she's
I'm a savage.
or when she's more softer. Like, what's the most fun to play?
I mean, the savageness of, I don't know, that's a very aggressive word, but,
I think you've had savage moments.
Yes, I have had savage moments. But, no, I like when she stands up for herself, because I feel like the first season was a lot of the sweetness, and now I think she's coming more into herself. She's putting up less with people's bullshit.
Yeah, I agree.
Are we just jumping right in? Are we just skipping ahead?
Segueing into...
You don't come on my YouTube show.
But no, it's always more fun. Like, I don't know, I think it would be so fun to play, like, a villain or, like, a mean...
I keep saying, if I was to remake Mean Girls, you would definitely be...
Regina George?
Oh my god.
100%.
You would do it so well,
It'd be
too.
so fun.
100%.
It'd be so fun.
What's your favorite part about playing Olivia?
She's so
I've-
funny.
That's a great question.
That's a great question.
Every
So
time
to
Sam
not
says
answer your
every time
question,
Sam says it's a great question, she's not gonna answer.
It's-
the question. She's not gonna answer the
I
question.
hate that you're right. I just get really awkward during interviews. Anyway, to answer your question, I guess my favorite part is that she reminds me a lot of myself, and very
Like, do you want to talk about
not like that, obvious, but like in smaller ways. Like, she's very caring. She gives too much of herself and doesn't leave enough for herself. And I see a lot of myself in Olivia. So, but I like that she's really layered too. She's really fun. And I also just like her style.
She's affectionate.
It's the clothes. Yeah, I always feel so comfortable whenever I'm in Olivia's clothing, which is nice when you're on
Except when
camera.
it's cold outside.
Except when it's cold.
Yes.
And I'm
That
in a
is for all the
tiny
girls,
top.
actually.
Dude, they put us in some ridiculous outfits for like, oh my god.
Yeah, I think also people function under the assumption that it is always warm in LA, which is
It's not true.
a myth.
Not
Now
4 o'clock in
having
the morning.
moved here.
Yeah.
No.
And it's dewy, it's cold,
Yeah,
wet,
it is.
you're alone, scared.
You're scared and alone.
Yeah, scared
In a
alone.
skirt and a tank top.
So, whose fault is it for the predicament our 3 characters are in right now? No.
their faces. They go, the writers. That's funny.
The writers?
I'm gonna go ahead and say our writing staff.
break it down.
Not Layla's.
Oh shit.
Okay, hold on. I think we all equally have a part in this. Takes
think
3 to
that's true.
tango, you feel me?
Mhm.
Does it take 3 to tango?
It
I
takes
think it only
3
takes
to tango.
The old saying, it takes 3 to tango.
It takes 3 to tango. I feel like we have to like go back to the beginning and break it down.
Okay.
You and I was the first one. Olivia was the first one to befriend Spencer, right?
Yeah.
And then you came up, and it was the party. The whole
No, we had a moment. We did have a moment.
When did you guys have a moment?
Oh,
in the
Right near the picnic
courtyard.
table.
And that was that before or after?
No, that's
We-
after.
We had
After
we
you
had
guys
just met in
met.
the classroom, and then we had that moment.
Yes.
So I mean, within like an hour of each other.
Right. I don't know if anyone's really responsible. I just think everything played out the way that it was supposed to.
I think, like, for the predicament that we are currently in,
Mhm.
I'm gonna take it. I mean, I think to be rejected, which Olivia was entitled to do. There's like a lot of people
Yes.
online that are like, why didn't she, like, she
And
doesn't
I
know him
believe
anything.
She was looking out for people who could
Yeah.
potentially be hurt in this process. Yeah.
But then for you,
But it was everything you wanted, though. That's what I think.
Yeah, but it was selfish.
Yeah.
It was selfish. We were both in. Well, were you guys on a break?
We
Were you guys together?
not
No.
technically, no.
no,
No,
cause
but-
she was in recovery, and we had decided at the cotillion that.
He would wait for her.
Is that what I said?
That is
Oh.
a direct quote, sir.
No, I'm sorry.
Again.
But also, that was like a different life, Spencer. He hadn't been shot yet. You know, a lot of, you know, it was like. He was a
Sounds like
different person.
excuses to me.
No, I'm just saying. It was, you know, he was a different person.
Getting shot. You're like, well, I'm hearing her.
I just feel like in Spencer's life, there's before he got shot and then after he got shot. And
Okay.
when he said he would wait for Layla, it was before he got shot. Not saying it doesn't count,
I'm just kidding.
but I'm just saying it's like, you know, big things have happened in
Definitely.
the interim.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I would just say though to have an intimate moment, keep this PG,
Very intimate.
with someone, and then to like not reveal what had just happened before, and then to like essentially what she said, string that person along out of pity. It's like not great. I think we can
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
And I think Layla is hurt too that just people weren't honest with her. Like neither
Like it was behind your
Spencer
back the
or
whole
Olivia
time.
weren't
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
I think that's what hurts her
Fair.
the most, because if you really like truly put yourself into that situation, to have the two people closest to you, like your boyfriend and your best friend,
Yeah.
both be in on something
But it's also not like it
and
just
not reveal
came.
it to you.
It's also, but it's not like it came out of the blue either, though. You know, like you.
I'm gonna say that I like Olivia and Spencer more than Layla and Spencer. Hands down.
You were the first one to admit, like, oh, you guys have a crush. You guys should get in that hot
My
tub
fault, y'all.
together. And then
Yeah,
it was
but-
the homecoming.
But I feel like at the point that they're at, it's like
Yeah, I mean now.
it is what it is right now. And what
Yeah.
what it was that these two people were dating, and her boyfriend and her best friend have feelings for each other that they're not being honest. Like it's just not fair to anybody. I
No,
think.
100%.
Yeah, I think that's the
I
worst
mean,
part. It's just the honesty part, like being
Up until
dishonest.
that moment, Spencer is absolutely sure that he and Olivia is over. Like he's the feelings are still there, but there's nothing in him that thinks that they're gonna.
But does he still have feelings for Olivia? Are his
Yes.
feelings for Olivia stronger than his feelings are for Layla when he like starts dating again, or they start whatever they're doing again?
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever.
we're doing.
Yeah. Yes, but that doesn't mean. But he still does love Layla. Like I think if any other person came into that room after Olivia left, he wouldn't have done it.
Okay, interesting.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
think he
think
would have. But I think because it's Layla and because he was so hurt and because there is feelings there and they still have a connection. It's just his connection with Liv was stronger. I think that's what kind of tipped him. And at that point, he needed comfort.
Do you think that they owed it to Layla to be honest with her, or do you think like technically they weren't dating, so?
No, but that's her. That's his ex, and that's her. Olivia's best friend. So, nah, I feel like they did owe it to tell her, right? I feel like they did owe it. Technically, they don't owe it to her, but obviously, it just would be better to tell her. I feel like you would expect them to tell you. You know what I'm saying? It's a tricky thing. It's a tricky thing because yeah, they weren't together exactly, but they still do. She deserves to know the truth. Basically, they don't exactly. Well, I feel like they do owe it to her, but they don't at the same time. That's why I'm saying it's tricky. Let me know what y'all think.
Say what you would, if this happened to you, what you would have wanted those people in your life to do.
You mean before? Like before that happened?
No, I mean like after they kiss.
Right.
And then Olivia knows that Layla and Spencer are now together. Do you think she owed it to Layla to tell her what had happened?
100%. And I think that she did.
Yeah.
What was your line? Cares for me but loves
Yeah.
you. I was like, ooh, that
But she
one
told
hurt.
her when it came out. Like,
Yeah, that
she
was
told her
tough.
earlier.
No, because I think it happened out of the blue. I think the feelings were always there since the beginning, but there were all these things that got in the way. So they both had to equally suppress
Spencer.
those.
The way I played it, Spencer didn't realize he was in love with Olivia until the wedding.
Right.
It was that they was always like he had love for her, but he didn't realize he was in love with her until the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They both had that realization, I think. And it just kind of happened. So of course, yeah, it owes a conversation for sure. But it's understandable that Layla's not ready to have that conversation yet because it's fresh. She feels betrayed, as she should. Because it was messed up. That was messed up. Yeah, but like.
Who was the worst betrayal? Is the best friend the worst betrayal?
I think it's the best friend.
That's
Yeah,
It's
it's definitely the best
second
friend.
time.
What was the?
You and Asher.
Yeah, but we didn't go behind. Did we go behind?
Yeah, because
It's
Layla,
all a blur to me. It's all I don't really remember. So much
That's
has
like
happened.
season 1.
Yeah.
So, I think because it's the second time that they've encountered a situation like this, I think it's like friendship technically is forever, and they've been there for each other through so much.
Yeah.
And I think they have been so vulnerable.
This nose piercing, bro.
That I think.
I hate that boys are getting in the middle of their friendship
honestly,
too.
Yeah, honestly.
Because I'm really living for their friendship, and I just want them to thrive.
But you know what? That is one of my favorite scenes in the entire show is you guys' confrontation in 8. And even though Spencer's what sparked it, that didn't feel like a fight over a boy.
Right. Yeah.
It
was
about the
boy.
friendship. It wasn't. It didn't feel like I don't think you can even. That's why I don't like when people produce it. Like,
It wasn't like she was jealous or anything. It was more like she was just upset with her friend,
It's
best
way
friend.
more layered, and I think they both bring up some very hurtful points in that conversation.
Hurt each other, you treacherous bitch.
What are those scenes like to film? Because you've done 2 of them now.
You know what I think when we did the one in season 1, we were actually both really in a sad mood about separate things.
We were both like tearing.
Let's roll the camera. I don't know. We were both having really bad days.
So our cycles were lined up.
Yeah, probably. We're like, we're ready.
Yeah.
So that one was easy because we were both so down
It was for
already.
season 2.
Yeah.
And for me personally, like whenever you have serious scenes, I'm always like, I gotta get in that headspace. Like, don't talk to me, leave me alone. Because I always want to do a good job. And now it's a little bit more relaxed. Like even that scene that we had at the Hangout, it wasn't as emotional, but they're definitely a little bit more fun just shooting it with you.
Oh yeah,
because they
are also emotional for very different reasons. Like in season 1, they both just heard this thing happen 5 seconds before they have this argument, whereas this conversation is happening, a few weeks after or days or I don't remember the timeline now, but And they're older and more
This one
things
felt
have
very
happened.
adult. It felt like an adult conversation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like in the breakup where she's like, it's not about the lemons. Like, I want you to take me to opera. It's like that kind of conversation. So I definitely think the friendship, the betrayal of the friendship for both of them.
Yeah.
That's the worst part.
It's more, yeah. I mean, you're still very much a part of the problem. I don't want to let you off the hook.
Yeah, do you want to take responsibility? What do you have to say about the situation?
Spencer James, what would you
I
like
think we
to
should
say
turn
for
the spotlight
yourself?
onto you. We're
I
waiting.
think-
getting off
I think Spencer's biggest mistake was not.
He's like, there are so many.
No,
Let me just
no. I think his biggest mistake was he didn't see how much Layla had grown. He was still seeing her as broken, which is why I think, because I do, Spencer he was in his mind, in his weird rationale, he was protecting her, and I think his mistake was not thinking she could handle just honesty.
losing him.
I mean, it's pretty.
She needs me.
She needs me. But I think
No, I know what
because
you mean,
because they, in that scene, episode 10, it was Susan Shuts a Broken Place. She just started to recover, and I don't think Spencer really saw how much, like, in his mind, she was still that person.
Yeah.
As opposed to the person that was like standing in front of him, that was now like running a record label and going toe to toe against her dad and all those things. He almost missed all of that and still saw her as the girl that was like broken and just got out of the rehab place. And so in his mind, he's like, she's not going to be able to handle this, and I do still have feelings for her. So let me just try and force it, almost fake it till you make it thing. I think that's what he was doing. I'm gonna fake it till I make it. This is not
Which
gonna happen.
sucks to be on the receiving
Which-
end of that.
of course,
Yeah.
That's brutal.
That's hard.
Like, I feel even worse.
Right, me
I
too.
know what you mean. That makes sense. That's how he would rationalize it. They're also teenagers, so.
And then
I know.
17. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, in the mind of a 17-year-old, he's like, yeah, I'll just keep dating her and then I'll for sure.
And then I'll like
Fall in love.
yeah.
I just really see Layla ending up with somebody who's like, just so deserving.
Yeah, wait, who
of
do you guys
their-
think is endgame?
It's up to the fans.
Honestly.
Because,
I think it's up to NK.
I mean, it's definitely up to NK. People are talking about it now, but I kind of like the idea of Layla and Jordan together.
That's so cool.
Layla and Jordan. You know, I don't know. Who just said that's so gross though?
People are talking about it now, but I kind of like.
I
the
definitely
idea.
want Spencer and Olivia to be in game. That would be amazing. Okay, that would be the best. I just really like them together. I don't know why.
People are talking about it now, but I kind of like the idea of Layla and Jordan together.
That's so gross to me.
It's weird
It's
to
so
us.
gross to me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Because it's Greta and Michael, or because it's
Probably because it's great.
yeah, that's yeah.
Something about that. Because you and Mike have such a like older sister, younger brother vibe.
Yeah, it's like anytime we're in a scene together, which has
Imagine
happened
making
like
out.
3 times.
Exactly. I think you guys have always, out of all of us, you guys have always like, you're like the older sister, and Mike's
Yeah.
like the younger brother running around. And so it's just so gross.
But as characters,
As characters, it makes
I mean, I think
sense.
as characters, I can see why people ship them. I think it would kind of make sense, but also I really like him and Simone.
I do kind of like him and
is
Simone.
that gonna last?
Right, yeah, I don't think it's gonna last. I don't think it's gonna last.
Or even whatever it is.
As long as Simone is still in it.
Yeah. Do you have any more hard-hitting questions for us?
So, just how good of a kisser am I?
I see you be trying to get you being slick, bro.
So, just how good of a kisser am I?
And thank you so much for having me on the podcast today.
We had a thing that we had to
Yeah,
do,
we
right?
thank you guys so much for tuning in.
He's being for real
I
too.
get questions about this a lot.
About what?
When people are like,
I would
"What is
imagine.
us?"
Oh, really?
People are like, how do you not develop feelings kissing on screen? I'm like, I feel like people don't
Oh,
understand.
you
like,
gotta, I would
You're
love to-
kissing a stranger, like that is for the first time, and then you develop like great bonds and relationships. You're not gonna always be attracted to someone in that way. They might be a good-looking person, and you can appreciate that, but you're not gonna always want more than just a friendship with, So just because it's a girl and a guy doesn't mean they're gonna catch feelings for each other. Just kissing on set during scenes and stuff. At that point, it's a job. Sometimes actors do fall in love and really like each other, but it doesn't happen all the time. It really doesn't. Just like Greta and what's his name? The guy that plays the bro. Just like they were talking about bro, big sis, their relationship. Those type of relationships develop over time, so it's really no going back from that. But then I think they just see each other as friends for real. Yeah. Let me go back.
develop feelings kissing on screen. I'm like, I feel like people don't
Oh,
understand.
you gotta, I would love to bring you to show you how those intimate scenes are filmed.
Oh
And
yeah,
how not sexy they are.
And also, when you do it enough times, like, our characters have been together since season 1. I don't think people understand, like, how much, and it's the same, I think, with Olivia and Asher. It's like,
Yeah, we were
it's
talking
just
about this.
another thing. You're like, okay, we walk in, we hold hands, we
Right,
kiss
you go,
here,
wait,
then
This
I
how
sit on the
this how it was.
chair,
This how
then...
this how I got to with Greta and I. We go into the makeup trailer, and we sit there, we get our makeup and hair done, and it's like, and then we're like, are we kissing in this scene? And Greta was like, yeah, I think so. It's like, okay, can I have a mint?
Don't
And
even
she
know.
get a mint, and then we
Yeah.
go, and then we would just like
The
debate like
consideration.
whose head gets to
Yeah.
go this direction and who's gonna.
What? You don't just wing it?
No.
No,
What
it's
the
just
wow.
like, I'll go, okay,
So
great,
you,
yeah,
I'm like, you
let's
wanna go
roll.
to the left? And I'll go to the yeah. Okay, cool.
I mean, we don't even get mints all, but this is season 3.
Yeah.
Mints were like season 1.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, I definitely didn't take a minute when I kissed you, so.
Yeah, it's very much just another, like, half the time towards the end, we didn't even remember when there was a kissing scene. We're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Right.
oh, okay. Like,
Yeah.
I think season 1, when you're starting to get to know people, it's a little bit more like
Yeah, it's definitely
kissing,
weirder.
hand-holding interaction
Yeah.
is much more nerve-wracking, and then
Yeah.
at some point. But here's the thing, it's like, you get used to doing it with a certain person, and then I feel
Yeah.
like when you're like, wait, now I have
to.
this
I
other person,
was
then it's
so nervous.
weird.
Oh, for the Vegas. Also, the Vegas kiss, which I'll never forgive NK for.
We need to, like,
she
post
wrote in that
the-
script,
yeah,
it's
I
the most
remember.
epic, perfect, blah
The
blah blah. And I was
stage
like,
directions.
don't do
Like,
that.
no pressure?
Yeah. Epic kiss, it's passionate, fire, all the things. And I was like,
I mean, you
this.
guys nailed it. It did look very good.
And we had like the single tears going on. It was so dramatic.
Okay, you want to hit the most embarrassing scene I filmed with Sam?
I would love to.
So, no, it's
For
me.
who?
It's
For
for me.
me?
It's for me. It's for me.
Okay.
So we filmed.
So excited.
Wait, let me make sure this episode is now.
Some juicy stuff.
Okay, it's in an upcoming episode. So I won't say what it's
Oh, no.
about. So it's an upcoming episode where we have like a close moment and we hug, right? And we have this like deep conversation. We hug, and then we did it a few times, right?
Yeah.
And then on one of the takes, I got something in my eye before we were setting up. Like something was in my eye, and I was like, oh shit! And so I was like, all right, we're ready. And so I went on. I was like, like this, and then we're doing the scene, and we're staring at each other, and a single tear falls out, right? Like Glory Denzel Washington, like single tear falls out while we're doing
Yeah.
the scene. Sam thinks I'm acting.
I
So
thought
Sam-
so I was like kissing him.
So Sam is like she goes my head and she wipes it away,
I'm like,
and it's just
and then I brushed her
and
and
she
I was
pushes it away. and then the scene ends, and then Sam comes back. It's like, did I read this scene wrong? Is it really that scene? I was like, no, that was an accident. And then the director came out and said, hey,
This is
the director was so
dial
confused,
it
like,
back
yeah,
a little
comedic
bit.
part
yeah,
of the
it was
episode.
so funny. And I was trying to explain to everyone that was not.
That's actually very funny. That's crazy. Yeah, it's so cool. Like when you find out that a scene has been like either improvised or if something happened that wasn't supposed to happen and ended up in the final cut. Like those are very interesting facts for sure. That's crazy. It made it extra dramatic, and Sam did not know. She really thought he was acting. I'm dying. That's a me right there.
So
Dial it
like,
back a little
comedic
bit.
part of
yeah,
the episode.
so funny. And I was trying to explain to everyone that was not supposed to
Oh my
happen.
god.
I was
Mhm.
I feel like Daniel's just having a thespian moment.
Yeah.
and it was like the single, like when Sean died in season 1, it was like the single, like, wait, something was just
Alright,
mad.
Sean.
And that's the one they're gonna use.
They
It's
watch,
always
it
it's
doesn't-
always the
it
take
doesn't
that you
make
don't want
sense.
them to
It doesn't
use.
make sense for the scene, so
At
I
all.
don't think they will.
At all. Yeah.
So even that counts.
That's not embarrassing though. I feel like it was like, so for the Vegas kiss, I was so nervous to kiss you.
Yeah.
Because to your point, like I got used to kissing Cody. We didn't necessarily plan out our kisses. We kind of just like winged them, and that's how I always do those scenes. Because I feel like the more you think about it, the more it's forced,
Yeah.
and kind of the messier it is. You kind of just have to.
It's more authentic.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I definitely watched the Vegas episode.
I mean, I guess if you discuss like, okay, are we gonna be putting tongue into this? Are we gonna just, you know what I'm saying, do an actor's kiss, y'all? Y'all know what the actor's kiss is. If you've been watching me, you know what that means. I call it actor's kiss when they basically put somebody else's like lips on top of your lips. You know what I'm saying? And y'all kiss and you make it look like you're basically kissing, but you're not really kissing. It's basically a terrible kiss. Terrible kiss, okay?
Hated the way I looked in that kissing scene.
Right.
I just. It was like.
I need to look that up.
It's always
I was
so
like, do I
awkward
look
to
like
watch
that?
you yourself kiss.
Oh
I
my
don't
god.
think anyone looks at it and is like, oh yeah.
I hate
Mhm.
watching myself, but I also hate particularly kissing scenes. I can't. It's cringe.
Well, it looked great.
We filmed
That's
those
an
scenes
objective view.
back to back.
Which scenes?
That one and then you coming in. We filmed like,
So you, wait,
No,
really?
you guys filmed first.
yeah. So we
Yes.
filmed that one first and then
We did it
went back and did
backwards.
yeah.
That's right.
So you really felt
I
it.
do remember that because I was off to the side. They were about to call me in for rehearsal.
Yeah.
We were on your last take, and I remember watching. It was like you turned around and did like the little, and I was like, I'm about to go in and make out with him. This
Yeah.
all feels really wrong.
Well,
Yeah.
good. Use it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did.
Use that.
It was such sincerity. I'm loving you so loud though.
That's what I-
all of the Vegas scenes,
Yeah.
Daniel and I could barely get through because we obviously know what happens in the script.
Yeah.
And I remember all those scenes where Layla's like, "You just gotta find the
Oh,
right
man.
thing," and then they cut, and we both just be like,
Oh,
It was
Oh,
just, I just,
it's
it felt so
brutal.
bad. There was one, where we all come in at the top. No, it's when we're drinking. You're like, do you wanna? JJ's asked everyone to go out. He's like, no, he's gone off to end up on the poster. Which we should film that. We should film a 30-minute special of what JJ did in Vegas.
Oh, 100%.
absolutely. We need
I
a
would
JJ
love to
spin-off.
see
Yeah,
that.
we should
Yeah.
definitely
JJ goes to
Yeah.
Vegas.
get Hunter and like film like a special of what JJ did. But the scene after he leaves, it's just me and you. You're like, do you wanna? And I said, I'm going to call my mom.
I'm gonna go call my mom.
So,
I don't remember that.
I do. I'm like, your mom? Ooh.
So I'm like, we're gonna call mom, and then,
Yeah,
and then it's
brutal.
I end up
And then
calling
that
you.
scene.
So when we filmed it, it's like you see Layla alone. They left that way longer than they needed to
Oh,
when we filmed
of
it,
course they
and it
did.
was
Oh,
just
yeah.
great, like
By myself.
it was. Oh,
Say hi to your mom.
yeah, it was. Oh man, and I couldn't
So
stop laughing.
sad.
Couldn't stop
Yeah.
laughing. Greta made me turn around because I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah,
It
no,
was
we feel
bad.
bad for Layla.
It was bad.
Yeah, we owe Layla big time. Big time.
Who? Me?
Us together as a collective. We owe
As a collective.
As a, everybody needs to get in and just give Layla one big giant apology.
Honestly, I have to agree.
Yeah.
I mean, she's
Do like a whole ceremony. Everybody takes turns going up with their papers of their apology and what they did.
But I do
No
think
one
in this
remembers.
particular situation, she is justified in feeling hurt.
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. You got me drunk and almost ruined my football career.
Okay, here's the
But
thing.
you didn't get him drunk.
Here's the thing. Yes, because and I talked
It
to
was
the
the
writers
guys.
about this because you call her out. In when
I
they're
wasn't at the
fighting.
party, so I heard through the grapevine.
But this
that
is the
you
thing,
guys
because
got
when you
him
call
drunk
her
and
out,
drunk.
I remember talking to a writer and I was like, I was under the impression that she did not do that intentionally. Like, she was not in on the
No.
on the thing.
You wanted him to have a good time.
Yeah, which I do still stand by. I don't think her intentions were ever malicious in the way that a lot of people online seem to believe. But yeah, I mean, I don't think
I'm gonna have to watch All American all over again.
because I think they have a connection off the top, the same way you guys have a connection off the top.
Yeah.
I don't think she's out here trying to like ruin his football career.
No, but from Olivia's perspective, she wasn't at the party, so she had probably.
Well, and also Olivia's like not in a state of mind
Right,
to be,
she's-
you know, you got to take everything with a grain of salt from Olivia.
She's also,
right
as we
now.
now know, kind of drunk during that scene.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
People say her intention
She's
was just to be
lashing out.
hurtful,
Yeah.
and you know,
Yeah. No, she definitely didn't mean anything that she said. There might have been some truth to it, but it definitely came out a lot more aggressive than she probably meant it to.
I think that was the case for both of them. I think they were
Yeah.
both just trying to be hurtful, and there was truth to what they were saying. But when you break it down, really,
It's messy.
it's
Toxic. Yeah.
Do you think there's ignoring what we know is coming up? Do you think in real life there'd be a way back for these two's friendship?
In real life.
In real life.
I think we've talked about this.
We have talked about
I
this.
think in real life it would be very difficult to come back
Very
from
difficult.
it.
And it wouldn't have played out like even that there was that scene where us three and then Cody are sitting down at the table and we're all just
Oh,
like
yeah, like
laughing
in
and
season
giggling
2.
and getting along, like we all just didn't like have sex with each other and like screw each other over like a couple months ago. Like it was just beyond like this would
Yeah, it's definitely not realistic in that way, but
especially teenagers.
Year-olds, yeah. I mean, there's I think a little bit obviously of like it's a TV show, and
Yeah.
you know, if everyone stopped talking to each other after they did something hurtful, like we'd have no show left.
Right.
But we'll see also, because I think they've had a lot of things that have bonded them through the years. You
Yeah.
were there for Layla when her mom passed away. She supported you through a lot of your recovery. You supported her with a lot of her mental health stuff. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I think in real life it would be hard.
I think it would be
don't
hard,
think
and I
it'd be
don't.
impossible.
yeah,
And I just don't see their friendship ever being the same.
Yes.
yeah.
I see them getting along and just like
Civil.
civil.
Yeah.
But I don't see them being as close as they were, which makes sense because
Mhm.
once trust is earned and once that's gone, it's kind of hard to build that up
Yeah.
again. So
But we'll see what happens.
We'll see what
in
happens.
the show world.
I'm curious to see how they write that.
Yeah.
Me
Where do you
too.
want to see Spencer and Olivia going?
I hope they get together. I think they
They
deserve
deserve
that.
their moment. The
I
people
think
want it.
Yeah, I mean, even if it doesn't, it's not like Endgame. We don't really know. It's not up to us. But I would
You don't
hope
think
that they
there's
get a
been too much
chance.
drama?
What?
You don't think there's just been too much drama up until this point?
I think there's been a lot of drama.
There's been a lot of drama.
And we came out of
There
that.
hasn't been
So
that much drama with you guys, though, has there?
no, I think there's
Not
been drama
really.
separately,
Around,
and then
yeah.
we've come
Yeah.
together and we've equally helped each other through that stuff. So it's almost like they look to each other as a support system. So from that aspect, they could be really good for each other in a healthy way.
Yeah.
But all
What was
that-
the when she was the period where Layla was depressed? What was that like to film? Was that rough?
Yeah, it was.
I mean, there was a lot that you had to sit with for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, they provided me with so many amazing resources, like production did. It was hard in that I was just crying and sad and in very dark mental spaces for the majority of season 2.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's always fun to come to work, but then you have to do scenes where you're kind of trying to stay in a certain headspace, and that
I mean,
gets
sometimes it's not fun.
difficult. Yeah.
I always find myself when I have like a very serious like monologue or commercial to rehearse, if it's like I said, if it's very serious, right before, like one of my acting coaches will, ask me to go ahead and, recite my monologue or a piece. The whole time before that, I'll be getting myself ready, and I'll basically just try to shut down and just kind of look like I'm not having a good time, think about certain things that will make me sad or low, or mad, however I'm supposed to act, in a serious manner. So the monologue that I actually have now that I'm going to be filming for my scouting event in July. That is actually very serious. So it's one of those, it's kind of sad. So, I'm just, getting ready for that. But yeah, those are definitely tough if you don't have much to think about. But, might be easier for some people,
It's hard.
Is it hard to to shake off?
Yeah, especially when like certain scenes, like the scene last season at the Baker twins' birthday, where Layla has a like breakdown essentially in front of everybody, yelling at her dad, yelling at Olivia, yelling at Miss Baker.
Oh yeah.
Also, so scary to film because there were so many people there, and we've talked about this. Like filming those scenes in front of like so many background actors was just like.
It's a lot of eyes. And also, I didn't plan on crying in that scene.
Yeah.
But you were so moving. I started bawling my eyes out, and I had no intention of crying because like, why would she be crying? It was
Right.
emotional.
Yeah.
But that I was feeding off of your energy and what you were bringing. And it was good. It was a lot though. I can imagine how hard that was.
That scene was hard. Like,
Yeah.
it was just like literally 3 hours of crying and yelling, dude. So that was hard.
Challenging.
Yeah.
You
Would
killed
you say
it.
that's the hardest scene you've done?
I don't know if it was the hardest. There were a lot, like the scene that we did, like on Mulholland,
Yeah.
right before she,
Oh, the car.
yeah, that was hard. There was a lot, like I don't want to quantify it. Like it was all just, a lot of that emotional work was really difficult, and also because like, your body knows it's not real, but your brain doesn't
brain doesn't know.
necessarily
Yeah.
process like
Right.
what is and isn't
Yeah.
true.
Right.
So
you go home and you're kind of in this weird groggy mood and you're
Yeah.
trying to get out of it. You're almost fighting it, and that makes it worse.
yeah, so yeah, that sort of thing is definitely really challenging. But when you feel like you've done a good job, it's some of the most rewarding. Like you leave that day being like, I feel like I did a really good job. But
Yeah.
it's scary anytime I feel like when they write in the script like, Layla is crying and screaming, like those directives.
Yeah.
I feel like
I
a
feel
lot
like you
of
have to
pressure.
read something.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I remember you were telling me I think it was first season. It's when you had your like first breakdown and you like tore up your house and you
Yes.
broke things. You were so nervous to do
Because
that.
like
scene.
you can't practice for that.
No.
You're just like, okay, I guess I'm gonna tear this shit apart. I don't
Let
know.
loose. Yeah.
So yeah.
Shoot, I'm gonna let out a lot of anger in them scenes,
Emotional
but
stuff, I always find challenging, but super rewarding.
Yeah.
But yeah, that season was.
What about you? Hardest favorite?
I can't narrow it down to just one scene. I think they're all challenging in their own ways. Like sometimes I have the hardest time with a 5-line page, where I'm just saying and doing the smallest thing, and it's just like where my head's at that day, emotionally where I'm at. Sometimes I just forget my lines, and then there's days where I have like a huge monologue and I'm like perfectly fine. But I would definitely say the emotional scenes are very taxing on my body. Just because you want it to be authentic, and
And it's so vulnerable too.
it's
Like
so vulnerable.
you don't want to watch it back and be like, oh,
That's not. Yeah.
Like,
no,
I didn't
you have to go
commit,
there. You have to just go into that space, and it's hard. And they give us a lot of that.
yeah.
I think by this point they're like, oh, these guys are good at crying. We're gonna
Yeah,
let them
yeah.
cry all the time. It's like, no,
All right.
yes, but like we don't want that anymore.
Do you have scenes that like when you watched and be like, oh, that came out just how I wanted?
No, never.
No.
I'm always unsatisfied with my. I walk away every time like I hated that. I'm not watching that. I could have done better. Always.
Yeah, I'm definitely super critical. I've just found that you have to trust the director, because sometimes you think you've done a great job, and you look back and you're like, really? And then you think
Nah.
just, like, it's terrible, and you watch it and you're like, oh, it's
it's
okay.
good.
So at this point, I feel like
Yeah.
you just gotta do it and hopefully feel good about it, and then trust that the people behind the camera
Yeah.
saw something that maybe you didn't see or feel.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Objectively.
Objectively, exactly.
I
For
felt that
sure.
way with the wedding scene. That came out way better because we didn't film it like that.
Right.
We filmed it like one after the other, and
Yeah.
and it's a scene that you're not talking in.
Yeah,
And
it's
we were
just
laughing
like-
in between those
Yeah,
takes
and
too.
you know it's such a big scene, but you can't say anything,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
literally just the camera. It's just a camera just coming in, and you have to go through it because you can't say anything. You feel kind of like
Stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like you
completely.
feel weird.
Completely.
And then, but when it's seen it all edited, how it came together, like, oh shit, I see what they were going for.
Yeah.
Music,
Yeah.
the cutaways.
Right.
It was so beautiful.
They did a
That's like listening to music with, like, it's basically like listening to just the voice. You know what I'm saying? Without any instruments, any, instrumental, anything. It's basically like that. If you just listening to them talking stuff without the music and the extra dramatic zooms, ins, outs, all that. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff does make up a good scene.
That's what I mean. Sometimes you just gotta do your best and then
Yeah.
I mean, you have no choice
Just
but to
walk
just
away
let
Yeah.
from
go.
it. Yeah.
Time is
Trust
money.
editors,
Yeah.
everybody
Check
else.
the gate next. You're like, oh, okay, I guess we're not gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hardest scene I filmed was definitely Corey dying.
Oh my god.
That was I remember we did it. We did 2 takes, and then Benny.
That's
came
it?
Up, no, we did. So we did 3 in total. We did 2,
Okay.
and then Benny came up to me and he was I can't remember what he said, but he basically was just like, I don't want you to have any. I don't put it all in the scene. Don't hold anything back.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I'm gonna give you 5 minutes, and then they set up in 5 minutes, and I went just by myself into a bush somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just
Yeah.
make sure you're in a bush with your
And then just put my
With
headphones
your
in.
AirPods.
cradling, fetal
And
position.
then just came in, and then none of what happened in there was planned, and then it just came out.
Yeah,
and
it's
then,
beautiful.
And I was begging, I said, don't let me do that again. And he was like, no, we're good. And then we moved on. But that was definitely, I had such a headache after that scene.
It's always great when you have a director that understands the kind of emotional and physical like taxing that your body goes through.
Yeah.
And doesn't make you do a scene like that 20 times. Like knows I'm gonna give you 1 take, 2 takes, whatever. If you need more, you can have
Yeah.
them, but
Right.
I'm not gonna make you go through it
Right.
1,000 times because at a certain point, also, I feel like you have nothing left in you.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right,
yeah. Because
right,
the first
so-
thing was just like the crying and breaking down, and
Yeah.
then the last one was when the scream came out, and then
Yeah.
I didn't have anything left after that.
Yeah.
And the consideration is always nice. Like when you work with directors who are like, so what shot do you want to do first? And do
Yeah.
you want to do your coverage first? Because I don't want to make you do more than you have to or have you run out of steam by the time it gets to your coverage.
Yeah.
It's really nice too, because you don't always get that. And then by the time it's your coverage or it's a close up, you're like,
We have a scene, we have a scene in 9, an emotional scene in the episode coming out when we come back,
oh right.
where I kept crying on your coverage,
Oh.
and I was like, stop crying, just wait,
Which-
just hold it.
Which one? Which?
It's the big one. I don't want to say too much, but
Well, when does this get this? Is this gonna come out
It's-
before then?
no, yeah, this is gonna come out
Okay.
before, but it's I'll tell you after, but and it was always, the camera's not on me, but it was such a good scene, it was so well written, and I kept like, stop it,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you're scared by the time the camera turns around, you've got nothing left.
I think
Definitely.
you were doing that in that birthday party scene.
Yes.
You and Monet were both
Yeah.
crying on my coverage.
Yeah.
And then I remember when it was
Bawling
your coverage,
our
you're like,
eyes out.
can I get, like,
Right. I just
There's
need some
nothing.
time. Can I get a water? Like I need to
replenish
Yeah.
and hydrate my tear ducts?
Yeah.
But it's good. Every time I looked at you in that scene, I would just start crying.
But that's, I was gonna say, even on my coverage, by the 10th take, I was still looking at you. You were still doing such an amazing job that we didn't have to force anything. It was just, God, you guys are talented.
Emotions.
Love
Beautiful.
you guys.
Aww. They're such a great cast, bro. I love them. Wow. Okay, I kind of wanted to look up. Who is it? Olivia and Spencer. Kiss. Where are they at? Vegas kiss. Okay, here we go. Because I wanted to see. She said she was uncomfortable when she saw herself. This is it right here. I don't really need to watch the whole thing, but like.
Spencer,
See, it looks extra intimate.
I love you. I ain't even sure when it happened.
She said she didn't like that kiss. Why didn't she like that kiss? You can't even see her lips. That's what she was talking about. Okay. I liked it. I mean, that whole show, All American, is just really great all around. So make sure you guys like this video. Make sure you guys comment down below, some links, full titles to help me out, and the most liked comment I'm gonna check out. I'm gonna add to my list. You get what I'm saying? I enjoyed this very much. It was very juicy. It was very inspirational, and it had some good tips in there for me. You know what I'm saying? Acting is my thing, so just listening to them talk about it, I think it was very helpful, to be honest. It was fun, entertaining for sure. So I appreciate the suggestion. Thank y'all so much for watching. I appreciate y'all. And if you guys do subscribe, if y'all do hit that bell, you'll see me in the next video. Stay lit, y'all. Yeah.